Hello, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Eric Connard. Every week we bring you stories that you've asked about, and we're looking for solutions. As the year winds down, we're looking back at some of our most popular Working for You stories of 2024. We begin with something that appears to be popping up in communities all over San Diego County: accessory dwelling units. Over the past year, we have brought you numerous reports about the boom in ADUs. We have brought you stories about everything from single-story granny flats to 17 ADUs on a single-family lot. Supporters say these units help address San Diego's housing shortage. However, others say it's not making a difference. CBS 8's Brian White is working for you and takes us to Claremont, where neighbors are fighting a project. And Brian looks into whether the developer is following the rules.
This is the property we're talking about right here on Shoshone Avenue. Now, the existing home will be remodeled and the garage converted into an attached ADU, and 10 additional units will be added to the backyard.
These people buy these properties, they show up, they start knocking things down and putting up these mega apartment complexes right in single-family homes.
Jerry Rapp and his neighbors are pushing back against this project on their cul-de-sac. They say parking will be a problem on their street.
It's super frustrating. You buy into a neighborhood, you've got these fantastic neighbors, and then we're going to get an apartment complex right here.
In October, their group, Neighbors for Claremont, filed a lawsuit against the developer, SDRE Homebuyers, the city of San Diego, for allowing it.
This is an expensive endeavor. It's $50,000 to $100,000 to fight these people in the city, and so the neighbors are chipping in.
I've shown you similar projects from this same developer, including this one on Firestone Street and this one on Almayo Avenue involving 17 accessory dwelling units. A couple months ago, I spoke with SDRE's attorney.
Everybody admits and agrees we have a housing crisis.
Skylar Hoffman, who grew up in Bay Park and Point Loma, showed me what these projects typically look like. One-bedroom units, 500 to 800 square feet. I pulled the permit for the current project on Shoshone. The backyard will end up holding 5 separate 2-story buildings.
It's NIMBY, right? It's not in my backyard. And everybody's fine with affordable housing, right? As long as it's not next door to me.
I checked. SDRE is allowed to do this through San Diego's ADU bonus program. They're allowed a bonus unit for every affordable one they build, and because there's a bus stop within a half mile, it's considered a transit priority area. That means no parking required.
It's coming all over San Diego unless we can get the city council to listen to their constituents and change these ridiculous bonus ADU laws.
As for the lawsuit they filed against SDRE and the city, Jerry tells me their first court hearing will be in May. Working for you in Claremont, Brian White, CBS 8.
Our next story takes us to downtown San Diego. Our tour guide company reached out to thank CBS 8 for working for you on an ongoing issue to stop drugs and violence happening in front of their storefront. This is a follow-up to a story we first shared in June. CBS 8's Abby Black shows us what has changed.
It's been 4 months since we've been here to the 300 G Street Park, and the owner of another side of San Diego Tour says he continues to be fed up with people doing drugs. There's violence and defecation. They feel unsafe, and so do the people visiting our beautiful city. We've been working for you. Now this has been cleared out, and San Diego police say they have long-term solutions.
That was a kung fu fight that took place right behind us.
This was the scene 4 months ago.
So here's the guy taking a leak.
And up until today,
It's a really deplorable situation of drug use, alcohol abuse, people screaming.
all of this happening in front of another side of San Diego Tours at the G Street Mini Park at 3rd Avenue.
New employees are quite intimidated, as the guests are too. We've had guests come in just absolutely frightened.
Kevin Wilkerson is a tour guide for the company who says countless Get It Done reports have been filed. Police are clean and safe respond and clear the courtyard, but eventually encampments pop back up.
It's embarrassing. I can't believe the city could allow something like that to happen.
The owner says that he was fed up and reached out to CBS 8 again for a follow-up, and at the same time contacted the San Diego Neighborhood Policing Division.
This has to be something we address on a regular basis. So.
Right before we arrived, San Diego police say that they cleared 12 people from the courtyard. One was given information about resources.
The other subject was issued a citation for drug paraphernalia.
Wilkerson shared his relief with the sergeant.
I'm glad to see enforcement taking place. I think that's really the key.
Sergeant Chris Smith is new to the Neighborhood Policing Division and says that this will be a target spot for foot patrols.
I'm a dad and a husband, and we come downtown too, so I have kind of a personal maybe motivation to see it improve as well.
Smith says that the department plans to add more officers to the beat who will use enforcement by having compassion, by offering resources, but also accountability to the law.
We won't be repeating steps. If we see that they've already been informed of the law, then we will go on to the next step of the enforcement.
The tour guide says that he welcomes the new enforcement approach.
And the fact they actually took action and were issuing citations is a very hopeful, promising situation now. Thank you, Sergeant.
Yeah.
Working for you in downtown,
Thanks for coming out again.
Abby Black, CBS 8.
Channel 8 gets it done, right?
And we have another working for you success story that we want to share with you. It all started last spring. A refrigerator at VFW Post 7420 died while they were making meals for flood victims. That's when we jumped into action. CBS 8's Jeff Zevely takes us to Logan Heights for this feel-good follow-up.
This follow-up is right out of the Working for You playbook, and it couldn't be any cooler.
We're going to be here until the families don't need us anymore.
Last week, we took you inside the kitchen at VFW Post 7420. That's where volunteers continue to cook free meals for hundreds of families displaced by the historic flooding.
You finish the mission. The mission is not complete until everybody's taken care of.
Thank you for your service to San Diego.
It was during that interview when Commander Livy Lazaro asked for help after their industrial refrigerator died on them.
Our story aired, and what happened?
Everyone just started calling and just blowing up our phone.
Even when the VFW fridge quit, volunteers did not.
The refrigerator is our lifeline.
Retired Sergeant First Class Johnny Odom told us cooking meals for San Diegans in need isn't a photo op.
Until the families are home, until they're back in their homes and they have a means to heat up food and cook for themselves, they have refrigerators and stoves, we'll be here.
But a new refrigerator sure does help.
Ta-da! Look at that.
This one's even bigger than the old one that died.
It's huge.
I know, and it's cold.
Our viewers wanted in on the mission.
Yes, some people came from Solana Beach, down in Escondido.
San Diego veterans.
Our story aired in 6 CBS 8 newscasts.
And they were like, we saw the Zephyr Zone. And that just kept on going. We saw the Zephyr Zone. Can we drop a donation up?
Commander Lazaro told us every time it played, a flood of donations followed.
It was beautiful. Like, even like our volunteers that were here, they're like, answer the phone, you know, because we had a gentleman walk up and just hand over cash.
You were texting me.
Yes.
We just got $50. We just got $70. And then you got
1,000.
All in all, a cool $3,000 came pouring in.
Your best Vanna White.
Isn't it beautiful?
Commander Lazaro completed 2 tours in Iraq as a combat medic, but says back here at home, San Diego is filled with heroes too.
Like, just so blessed, so supported, knowing that there's that many people that care.
Can I get a hug?
Of course. Oh my God.
In the Zevely Zone.
You did that, San Diego.
Yeah, you did. Thank you so much.
You did this.
Jeff Zevely, CBS 8.
Just love when our viewers step up. Way to go, San Diego. Hey, next up, our Verified team working for you. When we return, how to spot a jury duty scam and what happens if you miss a real jury summons. And pushing back against rental companies. How we helped a college student after he was hit with a hefty bill. Welcome back here, everyone. I'm Eric Connert. We continue to look back at some of our popular stories of 2024. A college student wants to warn others to double-check charges after you move out of a rental. A junior at SDSU says he was slapped with exorbitant fees after he moved out and was still receiving invoices until he asked CBS 8 to get involved. Our Abby Black is working for you and tells us what happened.
A third-year student at San Diego State University says that when he moved out of Fraternity Row, he received a $1,000 bill in damages that he said were overcharges. He and his mom fought back to get them removed and couldn't until they reached out to CBS 8 for help. That's when we started working for you. Alex Johnson was shocked when he received this move-out invoice from American Campus Communities totaling $1,020 in damages to his apartment unit in Fraternity Row.
There's no way I did this much damage. I remember leaving the place in super clean fashion.
Johnson admits that he did $12.50 in damages, but not the $750 in new paint. He says his roommates got the same bill.
As I knew they were just trying to extort me and extort all of my fraternity brothers.
He shared the bill with his mom, Kirsten Johnson, who lives in the Bay Area and already paid the $600 security deposit.
I don't have a backyard ATM, so for me to have somebody take $1,000 away, that's a chunk of money that could go to my son for his rent.
The Johnsons pushed back and shared this email thread with us between them and the general manager, who eventually reversed some of the charges, but were still on the hook for paint to cover fraternity mural and graffiti. Johnson says those were there before they moved in. They also want receipts for work because they shared these images from yesterday that show that they're still there and they've not been covered.
You're lying about it.
Before our interview with the Johnsons, I emailed American Campus Communities, whose new owner is Blackstone, the world's largest asset manager. And during our interview, the mom says that she missed a call from them and called them back after we finished our Zoom.
And she said, just give me your mailing address. We're going to send you a full refund.
I also received a call from American Campus PR, who told me that this was a one-off because the bills were sent out during a, quote, busy transition time, and there was a new manager who misunderstood the charges.
And the excuse for why they were getting overcharged was because there was a transition in management.
I asked about the roommates' charges, and I'm told that they're now addressing it with the former residents.
Why were they even charged with this in the first place?
They still have not explained how they'll avoid future overcharges.
It's really sad because this could have all been avoided. And all of a sudden, now that the spotlight's on, now they do the right thing. Why don't you do the right thing from the get-go?
Working for you in the college area.
I'm appreciative you guys took the story, and hopefully somebody out there hears it, and I would love some help.
Abby Black, CBS 8.
Amazing what putting the spotlight on companies can do, right? Did you get a parking ticket this year? Street sweeping parking tickets are a big moneymaker for the city of San Diego. We found the city took in $5.5 million in citation fines in 2023 alone. This year, they've issued more than 80,000 tickets, bringing in another $4 million. The most tickets were handed out in Mission Beach. The city tells us they make sure street sweeping signs are visible and legible. And our Verify team working for you to make sure you don't fall for the latest scams. A jury summons in the mail is not uncommon, but what happens when you get a phone call? Brandon Lewis shows us the red flags.
Users say they've gotten phone calls from someone claiming to be a government official, sometimes with matching caller ID, warning there's a warrant out for their arrest because they missed jury duty. The caller says to avoid going to jail, they can post a bond or pay a fine, usually with cash, prepaid debit card, or gift card. Several people online are wondering if these calls are legit. So let's verify. Our sources are the FBI, U.S. courts, and several local courts across the country. All of our sources say calls demanding money to avoid being arrested for missing jury duty are scams. While the penalty for missing jury duty can include jail time, depending on where you live, getting a phone call demanding money to avoid getting locked up isn't how it works. Instead, if you do miss jury duty, you'll most likely get a letter in the mail or a call from the courthouse to reschedule. But that person will not require you to pay money up front to avoid jail time. U.S. Attorney Roger Handberg says if someone calls and threatens you to pay them to not be arrested for missing jury duty, you are being scammed. Instead, immediately hang up and report the call to law enforcement. So, no, calls threatening arrest for skipping jury duty are not legit. They're scams. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis for CBS 8.
And our viewers step in to help with our next story when we return how some special dogs will be making a big impact on kids in the new year. Welcome back here, everyone. One of our favorite stories from the year takes us to Rady Children's Hospital. It's well known that dogs can provide comfort and help children recover from an illness or injury, but they can also help young victims. CBS 8's Abby Black working for kids and shows us what's happening at the hospital.
For many kids and their families who arrive at the Chadwick Center, some of them are facing their worst day. But for San Diego Police Comfort Canines like Lyle Hope, they're providing so much healing. Imagine what it'd be like if the Chadwick Center had its own full-time resident canine.
When you look into Lyle's big brown eyes, all the worries seem to fade away.
Their anxieties kind of melt away.
Lyle Hope is the San Diego Police Department's first ever child advocate companion canine.
We hit our 1-year anniversary.
Lyle joined the force last year to help children testify in court and be there for the 2,000 kids who go to Rady Children's Chadwick Center each year. These are children who have to talk about the unthinkable abuse or violence in a forensic interview or undergo an uncomfortable medical exam.
We are asking an awful lot of children to come and talk about some of the most traumatic experiences of their lives to someone that they've just met.
Marisol Olguin is a forensic interviewer at the Chadwick Center and says having a companion like Lyle helps break down those barriers.
We're, helping children have a voice, sometimes for the very first time.
But Lyle's in high demand, so he can't always be there at the Chadwick Center that supports 20 to 30 children a day in their resilience and recovery. Having a full-time canine can also help relieve some of the heaviness that affects staff, including therapists, clinicians, physicians, and advocates.
So we can all benefit from a facility dog.
CBS 8 is partnering with Rady Children's Hospital to raise money to have its own resident canine therapy program. Their goal is to start with 3 dogs, with one of them on site full-time at the Chadwick Center. But the cost to start and sustain the program is expensive.
And they're talking about some of the worst days of their lives. And this would just mean the world to us.
A resident canine can provide immediate safety, trust, and healing that allows children to open up about horrific details, which can be used in a criminal investigation so young survivors can get the justice they deserve.
And as children actually come to the topic of conversation, it can be really hard and they could shut down. But Lyle is there and I can see them. They'll turn to him, they'll pet him, and their anxiety is just, going down, down, down.
A canine can give kids control that they once lost.
You hand them the leash and they get to kind of walk into the room with him.
Resident canines can lead children down a path of support where they can feel loved once again.
Well, nice.
Working for kids.
With your help, we would be able to provide immense happiness and support.
Abby Black, CBS 8.
It'll just be amazing to have our own facility dog.
And since that story first aired, CBS 8, our viewers and sponsors helped raise over $400,000 for the new resident canine therapy program. We want to thank you for your generous donations, and we're looking forward to bringing you updates on the canine therapy program in the new year. That's going to do it for us here, folks. Remember, if there's something you'd like us to look into, email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. Always check us out on our streaming channel, CBS 8 Plus, as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time. Have a happy holidays.